of Seeing Sentai. I'm Mars Girl. We're continuing to look at J.A.K.Q Dengekitai. This week we're talking about episodes 15 through 21. I was waiting for it, and it finally happened. It finally got to a point in the series where they decided, you know what, the super serious crime-related stuff just kinda isn't working, and neither is the playing card stuff. So now we're gonna slowly start to dumb it down so that it's more for a very childlike audience. Very childlike in some circumstances. I'll kind of start small at first to give you an understanding on how much has changed. For starters, it used to be at the beginning of every episode, the title of every episode would be like, Royal Flush, or 5 Straight, or something having to do with a deck of playing cards or perhaps a game of poker, because, you know, the visual theme of each of these Sentai heroes is that they're a card, a playing card, you know, Heart Queen, Spade Ace, stuff like that. And now they don't even hardly reference it other than during roll call. It used to be that they would throw out a playing card and it would land on the chest of the enemy and then pull back. Like, there's very much a playing card theme going on, and now it's almost entirely abandoned other than in their suits. Secondly, let's talk for a second about how the characters have kind of changed personality, because they have, and it's been fairly dramatic. In the case of Queen, you know, she's half Japanese, probably half white, and now they have her being more of a cutesy kind of a woman. She does flower arranging now, she serves tea, she's scared of certain monsters now, she's just really, really cute. And they make sure that because she's part foreigner, they make her say as much English as humanly possible, which is not something she used to do. And I just feel like, oh, well, there went the strong female role of the group. It was really kind of depressing. Jack perhaps changed the least out of all of them. Again, from last week, the only thing that really changed was the color of his ascot. Otherwise, he's essentially the same dude. But man, King and Ace, man, they both changed pretty dramatically. Like, Ace is now kinda dumber than he used to be, and King is just he's so goofy all of a sudden. And he's always wanting to play with his kendama, you know, the ball and cup toy that you'll often see in a lot of Japanese media, such as in Yatterman, for example. You know, it's got 2 little cups, it's got this stick at the end of it that sometimes if you're really good at it, you know, you swing the ball up on a string and you either catch it on the little stick or in one of the 2 cups, and he's constantly playing this stupid little game, and then he's always hitting on women now. He's even calling his co-workers, you know, other members of their good group ISIS. I have to make sure I say that they're the good group. There's 2 women that have started to show up who help in the organization, and they're not J.A.K.Q members, but, you know, they go out and they do certain missions and they get certain tasks done for the organization, and J.A.K.Q can't help but compliment the women on how beautiful they look, and he does that to every single beautiful woman he sees now, and it makes me so sad because he used to be my favorite character up until this past week. It used to be that, like, he had a reason for why he does what he does. You know, a couple weeks back, you might remember, like, this is the guy they had to bring back from the dead. This is the guy who lost his little sister, and he had, like, such a deep, sad backstory, but because of that, he's doing all the right things, and I was like, man, this guy is awesome! And now he's just a completely different person, and it's so sad and so embarrassing. But what is probably the worst part so far is that, okay, Joker had a little hamster. He's had that hamster kind of since the beginning. It just kind of shows up. Sometimes it's on his shoulder or whatever. And then all of a sudden it started talking. Just one day, it just started talking. And it's like, thank you very much. My name is Cyborg Hamster. It's nice to meet you. No! And then Ace goes over and he picks it up and he's like, oh, well, it's very nice to meet you too. And my mind is blown. This is not the same series at all. And like, our 5th Sentai member has not even shown up yet. That's still gonna take another like 2 episodes or something like that. So it hasn't gone completely, absolutely off the wall insane yet, which I hear that it will, but it's, noticeably stupid at this point. So now, also, they've kind of slowed down on murders and kidnappings and drug rings and stuff of that nature, and instead, now it's gotten down to, well, crime doesn't like ISIS, and ISIS doesn't like crime, so they're just kind of against each other. So now, all crime ever really does is just find whatever means it takes to stop ISIS and J.A.K.Q, just trying to undermine them or trick them or get into their facility or whatever the case may be. And now it's more about monsters than it was about running crime rings. So now I can start to say that the monsters are showing slight more importance, which if the show had started that way from the beginning, then that would have been great, but it didn't. So now names such as Devil Mummy, Devil Ball, Devil Fishing, Devil Athletic, Devil Bem, and Devil Batter, like those now have become more important. But realize this too, there were 2 baseball-related monsters within like 4 or 5 episodes of each other. It was awful. The first one marks the 100th episode of Super Sentai, which is cool, except at the time Super Sentai wasn't really a known thing. Like, they didn't know this was going to be a full-length franchise that just keeps going and going and going. So, despite the fact that they're using a baseball-themed monster, which probably harkens back to Baseball Mask of Go Ranger, really I think that was more coincidence than it was anything else. But the second time with Devil Batter, which is this most recent episode that I watched, episode 21, that guy was voiced by the same guy who voiced Baseball Mask. So as you can see, like, Baseball Mask becomes a very well-known and very important monster to the history of Super Sentai, and in fact he'll show up again in future Sentai series to come. But Devil Batter was kind of dumb, comes rolling in on a bicycle and finds a bunch of kids playing baseball. I was like, hey kids, I left crime and all I want to do is play baseball. I'm like, yeah, right, sure you did. But you can see how childish it's become, and almost every single episode now revolves somehow around children. Like, there's a child that gets kidnapped, or we have to worry about this child who was given a baseball that's actually a remote control baseball that does whatever it wants and it attacks the members of J.A.K.Q however it wants. Or there's this child princess who comes from overseas to visit and to acquire a stone, and the child gets attacked or kidnapped or whatever. It's almost all about children now, and that just kind of goes to show, alright, the adult stuff wasn't working, we have to tone it down, and we have to gear it more towards kids. But the unfortunate part is that we know that it didn't work, and it got cancelled anyway, and this is still the shortest running Sentai series to this date. Nobody's really acquired anything new yet. It's coming though, so I can expect within this next week we're gonna see other new stuff finally show up. We're definitely seeing a brand new character show up, so, cool. Not much more to tell, but I do want to thank you guys for watching as always, and thanks to our Patreon contributors over at patreon.com/MarsGirl. You can get your name in the credits, or get a video review of your choosing, should you choose to do so. Again, go to patreon.com/MarsGirl. I can get you guys hooked up. Also, follow me on marsgirl.tumblr.com. I'll continue to do write-ups on episodes. I know I've been a little bit late on this episode, so I'm trying to get myself caught up, and I think I'll be able to do that this week. Thanks for watching as always. Be looking forward to seeing you guys in another episode of Seeing Sentai later this week.